Welcome to the subject of EXT 319 Educational Psychology and Rural Sociology. I will be your course teacher this semester. My name is Dr.D.Sancley, but you can call me Daisy. I am the teaching associate in the Department of Agriculture, Extension and Communication, SHUATS, Borlaug. I'll be teaching you the subject of Educational Psychology and Rural Sociology, which come under the Department of Agricultural Extension and Communication. Now let us start with the subject. The first topic that I'm going to discuss today is about the introduction to extension education. The history of agriculture records to the domestication of plants and animals and the development of the dissemination of techniques for raising them productively. Agriculture began independently in different parts of the globe and included a diverse range of taxa. While grains were collected and eaten from at least 105,000 years ago, however, domestication did not occur till much later. When we talk about agriculture, it is not just an art and science of growing plants and other crops, but also raising animals for food, other human needs, or economic gain. The Royal Agricultural University, RAU, is a university in Cirencester, Gloucestershire, England, established in 1845. It was the first agricultural college in the English-speaking world. Then the first State Agricultural University of India, J.B. Pant University, also known as Pantnagar University of Agriculture and Technology, was established in Pantnagar, then in Uttar Pradesh, now in Uttarakhand. It was inaugurated by the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, on 17 November 1960. The J.B. Pant University is a symbol of a successful partnership between India and the United States. The establishment of this university brought about a revolution in agricultural education, research and extension. It paved the way for setting up of 31st other agricultural university. The campus appeared very impressive today, so you should visit this university at least once in your life. Then we have the important people in agriculture. I want to talk about these two important people which leads to the green revolution in the world as well as in India. First one we have here is Norman Borlaug. In 1970, Norman Borlaug was awarded as the Nobel Peace Prize for a lifetime of work to feed a hungry world. Although a scientist with outstanding contribution, perhaps Dr. Borlaug's greatest achievement has been his unending struggle in integrating the various streams of agricultural research into viable technologies and to convince political leaders to bring these advances to fruition. It was on the research station and farmers' fields of Mexico that Dr. Borlaug developed a successive generations of wheat varieties. What did he develop? A successive generation of wheat varieties with broad and stable disease resistance, broad adaptation to growing conditions across many degrees of latitude, and with exceedingly high yield potential. These new wheat varieties and improved crop management practices transformed agricultural production in Mexico during the 1940 and 1950, and later in Asia and Latin America, sparking what today is known as the Green Revolution. Because of his achievement to prevent hunger, famine, and misery around the world, it is said that Dr. Borlaug has saved more lives than any other person who has ever lived. Then we have Dr. Swaminathan, the Indian geneticist and the international administrator, renowned for his leading roles in India's Green Revolution, a program under which high-yield varieties of wheat and rice seedling were planted in the fields of the poor farmers. Agriculture consists of two branches. We have the plant science and the animal science. In the plant science, we have agronomy, which is a science and technology of producing and using plants in agriculture for food, fuel, fibers, and land restoration. Then we have horticulture, which is a branch of plant science dealing with the garden crops, generally fruits, vegetables, and ornamental plants. Then we have agricultural engineering, which is the area of engineering concerned with the design, construction, and improvement of farming equipment and machinery. Agriculture economics, which deals with the applied field of economics concerned with the application of economic theory in optimizing the production and distribution of food and fiber. Then plant pathology, which is a scientific studies of disease in plants caused by pathogens and environmental conditions. Then we have entomology, which is a science that deals with the study of insect and its management practices. The soil science, which is a branch of science that deals with the study of edaphic conditions as they relate to the production of food and fibers. Then agriculture chemistry, which is a study of chemistry, especially organic chemistry and biochemistry as they relate to agriculture. Then we have agriculture extension, which is the application of the scientific research and new knowledge to agriculture practices through farmers' education. We have agriculture botany, which provides advanced study of topics in crop cultivation through analysis of plant physiological properties and ecology, sustainability, and wider economics important. Then we have genetics and plant breedings, which deals with the science of studying and changing the traits of plants in order to produce a desirable characteristic. Then in the animal science, we have the ruminant animals, that is the animals that we studies about the herbivore animals, those that are able to acquire nutrients from plant-based foods by fermenting it in a specialized stomach prior to digestion, principally through microbial action. Then we have the dairy science, which focuses on the production and manufacturing of all dairy products, including milk. Then we have the poultry science, which is a study of all types of birds raised for food and feather, including chickens, turkeys, geese, and ducks. Then we have pisciculture, which is a branch of agriculture which deals with the studies of the breeding and raising of fish. Especially we talk about the finfish, because pisciculture falls under the broader category of the aquaculture. Then we have the apiculture, which is a scientific method of rearing of honeybees. Now moving ahead, let us see the meaning of extension. Extension is derived from a Latin root word, ex and tensio. Ex means out and tensio means stretching. So extension is stretching out. The word extension came to be used originally in USA during 1914, which means a branch of university for students who cannot attend the university proper. Agriculture extension is the application of the scientific research and new knowledge agriculture practices through farmers' education. We provide education through agriculture extension by extending our new technology, new knowledge to the farmers. So as you can see in this picture, extension bridges the gap between the farmers and the research center or research station. The research center here can be any government or non-government institution that helped in developing the new technologies that needs to be disseminated according to the farmers' needs, according to the requirements of the farmers and the improvement of the farming practices. So extension here, it helps in fulfilling the gap between the research and the farmers. Any new technologies that is developing in the research center here, it will be disseminated to the farmers with the help of the extension. Okay, now let us see the history of extension. The need for extension was felt in Europe and North America during the 18th century in the wake of the industrial development. The first society is said to be established in Scotland in 1728 for the spread of knowledge of agriculture through lectures and publications. The root of extension education, however, can be traced back to 1840 when the term university extension was first used in Britain to take the knowledge to the doorstep of the common people. Even though the extension has been used before the 1840 and also before the 1728, but if we check about the history of agriculture extension, we will see that it has been used in different parts of the world through the extension service and extension work in China, Philippines, etc. before the actual development of the extension education as a subject, or before the recognition of the extension education as a subject in colleges and the university. Later on in the year 1867-68, the first practical step was taken by James Stewart. James Stewart is the fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge, England, when he gave a lectures to Women Association and Working Men's Club. James Stewart is called as the father of university extension. He approached the authorities of University of Cambridge to organize extension lectures. The system was accepted by the Cambridge as well as Oxford University in 1873. Dr. J.P. Liggins is known as the father of extension in USA. As you can see here, the important people, James Stewart is called as the father of university extension, J.P. Liggins the father of extension in USA, and Dr. K.N. Singh is known as the father of extension in the Indian context. The Department of Agriculture, Extension and Communication in SHUATS was established in 1952. When we remember the date of 1952, we also remember the development of the Community Developmental Program, which paved a hand to the extension service for the people. 1952 is the Community Developmental Program and 1953 is the National Extension Service Program. These two programs are very important because they are the programs that help in the popularization of extension in India. I will repeat: 1952 the Community Developmental Program and 1953 the National Extension Service Program. Let us see what is education and the types of the system of education. Education is the production or the changes in the behavior, knowledge, attitude and skill of the people. Education forms a holistic and significant part of the individual's life. It is the process of gaining, of imparting knowledge that aids in building a proficient personalities, ultimately improving the quality of life. When we talk about education, it is not only the knowledge that we attain from the books, but it also has a very broader concept and helps in enhancement of skills and mental abilities of the human being. It also goes beyond the classrooms, schools and colleges. Let us see about what is this informal, non-formal and informal system of education. The formal, informal, non-formal system of education. The first one we have here is I will show you the picture. The first one here we have is the informal education. What is the informal education? The informal education is the education that you get from your parents, from your friends, from the way that you expose or that you experience in day-to-day life. In the informal education, the type of knowledge that you obtain is either from your parents, from your elders, or through your own experiences. This knowledge deals with our day-to-day life. It does not contain any theoretical knowledge of the books. For example, now learning how to cook or learning to drive or to make a specific arrangement or appointments are some of the informal education. You don't need to go and study to fix an appointment or to make an arrangement in your home, because you have already learned that. That is the informal system of education. It is, let us see some of the important points about the informal system. It is free and it does not have any rules, regulation or restriction. You can learn how to cook in your own kitchen without a restriction from your parents or without any authorities to stop you from doing so. It does not have a time limit. There is no proper dress code for that. You can dress casually. Okay, there are no exams in the informal education, or there is no curriculum that you need to follow. There is no strict rules that you need to follow. You can learn whatever you want to learn through your experience, and it is a lifelong education because you will get it till you die. You will still learn something until you die. Then we have the second one, that is the formal system of education. The formal education is those type of education that we learned in the school, colleges, or in the formal system of education. It has a proper structure of the design of the course, then proper syllabus and books. It has proper schedule, regular exams and tests are conducted. You need to pay fees. These are the formal system of education. As you can see here, there will be teacher, there will be student, there will be proper classroom, and there will be timing to attend the class. You have to give exams in the formal system of education. Then we have the non-formal system of education, which is the agricultural extension education. The non-formal system of education, also known as the adult education. In this education, we can give the education to the farmers outside the formal system. That is, it is the framework of the non-formal system of education, which is the out-of-school system of education. Our main aim is to target the farmers to provide them the education according to their needs, according to their interests, and according to the particular type of technology that we need to disseminate or we need to give to the farmers, so that it will improve their knowledge, skill and attitude. Then next we have the basic definitions related to extension. Extension is an applied behavioral science consisting of relevant content derived from physical, biological, and social sciences and its own process synthesis into the body of knowledge, concept, principle, and procedures oriented to provide a non-credit out-of-school education largely for adults. Even though the non-formal system of education, we target the different types of group, but here we are talking about the adults because we are dealing with the farmers. So extension education is a non-formal system of education where we stretch out the latest technology and information through the farmers through the education. Then we have extension service. The extension service, this refers to the program for agriculture development and rural welfare. Then we have the extension process, that is the working with the rural people throughout of school education along those current interests and needs which are closely related to gaining a livelihood, improving the physical level of living of the rural families and fostering the rural community welfare. That is, we are trying to improve their socio-economic status by imparting the education. The modern extension began in Dublin, Ireland in 1847. Then it expanded in Germany in 1850s onwards. See, the term was later adopted in the United States of America, while in Britain it was replaced with the advisory service in the 20th century. We have the different concept of extension used in the different parts of the world. Number one we have is the Arabic al-irshad, that means guidance. Then we have Dutch. In the Dutch language we have voorlichting meaning lightening the path. Then we have in German Begatung, that is advisory work. Then in French, vulgarisation, that is popularization. In Spanish, capacitation is the capacity building. Then in Thai, songsum, that is to promote. Now you have learned different types of the concept that is used in extension in different languages. Number 1 is Arabic, al-irshad, that is guidance. Dutch, voorlichting, lightening the path. German, begatung, advisory work. French, vulgarization, popularization. Spanish, capacitation, training or capacity building. And Thai, we have songsum, to promote. Then, what is the scope of agricultural extension? The main aim of agricultural extension is to improve the overall socio-economic status of the farmers, to improve the farming, to improve the efficiency of the farm. So when we talk about the efficiency, the simple and straightforward way of measuring the efficiency of the farm could be a yield per hectare. That means to see that how much production comes up from out of the farm of the particular farmers. So these are the 9 areas which agriculture extension have a scope on. Number 1 we have is to increase the agriculture production. Number 2 is to increase the marketing, distribution and utilization. Number 3, conservation, development and use of the natural resources. Number 4, management on the farm and in the homes. 5, for the family living. Number 6, for the youth development. That is to prepare the youth of today to become the effective, empathetic adults of tomorrow. Then we have the leadership, which as the role and the status of ones are more individual in the structure and functioning of the group organization, which enable these groups to meet the needs of the purpose that can be achieved only through the cooperation of the members of the group. So we need the leadership development, so as the others can follow what the leaders is doing. Then we have the community development and rural area development, and also we have the scope in the public affairs. Then let us see the objectives. Objective is simply the expression of the ends towards which our efforts are to be directed. In other words, we can say that objective means the direction of movement. See, before we start any program, you need to clearly understand the objectives of extension so that you will know what to do, where to go, and what is to be achieved. So in the context of the development, the objective of the extension is, number 1 is to raise the standard of living of the rural people. That is by helping them to use the right utilization of the resources. Then to help in implementing the family and village plans for increasing the production in various occupations. Then to provide the facilities for a better family living through different programs which is based upon the needs and interest of the peoples at the grassroots level. Then the specific objective is to provide knowledge through education and help for better management of farm and increase incomes. Knowledge can be provided by imparting the education, by imparting trainings, then by holding awareness program, workshops and other teaching communication aids. Then we have the second specific objective, that is to encourage the farmers to grow his own food, eat well and live well. Then to promote a better social, recreational, intellectual and spiritual file among the people. Not only to promote their social, economic level, but also their national, recreational, intellectual and the spiritual file among the people. Then also to help the rural family in better appreciation of SWOT in the village. SWOT mean strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. I will repeat, SWOT means strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threats in the village. Through the agricultural extension education, we can help the rural people to identify the strengths in the farming practices, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities that will pave hand to the development in the farming, and then what are the threats, that is the uncertainties and risks that might have occurred or will occur in the future for the farms and their farming. Then the last but not the least is to open the new opportunities for developing talents and the leadership of rural people. We need local leaders, we need youth in order to become the effective, empathetic adults for tomorrow. So this is the introduction to the subject of extension education. I hope you are clear. If you are not clear with any of these points that I have mentioned, kindly write down in the comments and I will discuss with you in the online classroom through the Google Meet. Until then, I'll see you in the next class.